Again, don't bother trying to copy it all down. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. There is that page. If you want to ask about any of them, I will do them. Okay. And there is... Those are the answers. This is all the work because you guys tend to have some trouble with this, right? Those are the answers. Here's the work, right? The first one, there it is. You work it out. The second one, the denominator, there it is. You work it out. And since it's divided by, you reciprocate. Then you factor. Then you cancel, like always. Allie.
E from the other page.
E. This one. All right. 2h over h plus 3, h minus 3, plus h over h plus 3, h plus 3, minus 3 over h minus 3, right?
Yep.
What's the common denominator? H plus 3, h minus 3, right? That covers all of it. I need another h plus 3. Okay. So what's this guy need? Well, we'll come back to it. What's this guy need? H plus 3, right? So that's going to be 2h squared plus 6h, yeah? What's this guy need? H minus 3, so plus h squared minus 3h. And what's this guy need? Well, he needs h plus 3 squared, doesn't he? Right? So minus 3h squared, because he needs h plus 3h plus 3, right? So he needs 3 h plus 3, h plus 3, right? And you sort it out. 2h squared. Oh, you got to actually sort that out. Minus 3h squared plus 18h plus 27. Then you collect all your like terms. 3h squared, 2h squared plus h squared is 3h squared minus 3h squared, right? Yeah. Gone, gone, gone. 6h minus 3h is 3h plus 18h is 21h. Gone, gone, gone. Oh, I screwed that up. It's 6h minus 3h. It's negative 15h plus 27 over h plus 3, h plus 3, h minus 3. What factors out of there? Yes, it should be negative 27. So what factors out of there? Negative 3 to get over that. Plus 9. And then over that. And then there's no more canceling. Everyone good there? And everyone good there? All right, so now there's no work. Well, there is some work. I thought there was none. That's the first one there. That's the only work I showed because that's really the only work you need to do. Multiply that by 2 to get it to 6x. Everyone is good? Then collect your like terms. This one, when you factor that, there it is right there. So this needed x plus 3, or sorry, x minus 3. Then you just distribute the 2 and collect your like terms. The biggest mistake I find that you students make with this is if that's a negative, you forget to leave that in brackets, and then you forget that that negative makes that positive, right? That's what I find is the biggest mistake. This one's really hard, so I'm willing to go through it if you want. But again, not really hard, just a lot of stuff's going on. Do people want to see that one done? Great, okay. And then that one is right there. That one's not as difficult. I found that one not to be very difficult. So are we all ready to move on? Okay. Page 179, I believe. No, that's a lie. 170. That's block B. You're block D. 177, first try. Okay. I would like to remind you of something before we go on. What is an equation as opposed to an expression, Anthony?
An equation is an expression that equals something.
Right. Okay. An equation is okay. It has to be equal to something. Now, sometimes it's equal to a single unit, like this. X plus 3 equals 7. What's the answer? 4. Because when we isolate the variable, the answer is 4. The answer is not 4 because 4 plus 3 is 7. Why is the answer 4? Because 7 minus 3 is 4. So we've done the inverse operation, right? Okay, so you have no problem solving that equation, yeah? You can do it in your head in 2 seconds. What about this one? Could you solve that one? What would you do? Collect the x's on one side and then do algebra. No problem, right? Right? Okay. What about this one? I'm going to start this one down here because those are the basics. What if I asked you to do this? How would you solve that? You'd get rid of the fractions, right? So you'd multiply this guy by what? 2. You'd multiply the whole thing by 2, right? Then what would you do to get rid of this guy? Yeah, but who wants to multiply by 2 and 5? What could you do to save your time? You could multiply them both by whole thing by 10, right? And what would you get? What is 10 times a half? 5 plus what is 10 times 2/5? 4, right? right? Would equal what? 9. So what's x? No. How can x be 9? That's a half and 2/5 of something. It's 9/10. Right? Right? Okay. So now, 9/10. So what did you really do here when you multiply by 10? What did you really find? What's this really over? 10. What's this really over? So this got your common denominator, yes? Okay, now, if I change this question to this, what are you going to do? You could find a common denominator, which was what? We know it to be what? So what would we have to multiply this guy by? Well, we have to multiply this guy by 2, and I will get 5 plus 2x equals what? Just 9. Because I don't need the 10 anymore, right? Everybody with me? Once I have a common denominator, does it matter anymore? No. Because if everything is over the same denominator, then you only care about the numerators, right? If I were to add 7 plus 8 plus 9, what's the common denominator? 1, because they're all 1, right? Do we care about the denominator? No. So if I gave you 7 plus 8 plus x equal something, you don't care about the denominator because they all have a denominator of 1, right? So if I can get a common denominator, I don't care about it anymore. I can get rid of it. Everybody with me? That's the new thing for this. It's the only thing you have to know that you may not automatically be able to do. Everybody cool? All right, so we solve rational equations the same way we solve every equation. Our goal is to isolate x, right? We have tons of tools for isolating x. What are some of them? Pardon? All the inverse operations, yes? Okay. What if I have 2 x's in something? Oh, sorry. There's 2 x's there. What am I going to do to isolate x? Factor it, right? So we've got all the inverse operations and we've got factoring all at our disposal, yes? So, solve rational equations by, as always, what we always do, simplify, collect, isolate, right? So 1, simplify. Use all the tools at our disposal, which for most of us, most of the time in grade 11, now means factor, factor, factor. And then cancel, 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 right? Step 2, collect like terms. And maybe here is cancel. No, not canset. Cancel. There's something we have to remember to do there before we cancel. That's new in grade 11. What is it? What? NPVs. We got to check them before we cancel because they're never allowed to be there. And last step, isolate. Same thing all the way along, right? So we're going to look at the first one. It's going to be the easiest one, obviously. Have a look at the question. What do we need? Common denominator. So this is really over what? 1. So what's our common denominator? 4x, right? So if you don't want to write down the step, you know the common denominator is 4x, don't write it down, but I recommend you write it down while you're practicing. So I know everything's going to be over 4x, yes? Has to be. What did this term need to have the common denominator necessary? it needed an x. So what is my new numerator there? X squared. What did this term need? 4. So that needs a 4. So what's that? 28 equals. What did this guy need? 4x. So what did it equal? 12x. Now, is everything over the same denominator? Do we need the denominator anymore? No. So we can get rid of it, except what must we do? We got to do our NPVs. What can x not equal? 0. Now we can carry on. We don't need it anymore. X squared minus 28 equals 12x. What does that look like to you? Even if you didn't know what to do right now, you should see something there. What is it? It's a quadratic equation, isn't it? What would we do with that? Factor it to find the roots, because that's what x equals. What do I got to do to actually factor it, Hayden? Because I didn't want to interrupt you, but you said the right thing. Move the 12x. Equals what? 0, because if I don't have a 0, I can't do it. Now, what finds us what x equals? What always works? Finding the roots. Hardest way to find the roots? Quadratic equation, but it always works. Easiest way to find the roots? Factor, but it doesn't always work. Is factoring going to work here? What is it? X minus 14, x plus 2. What then is the answer? 14 and negative 2. And of course you can check it if you want. What is 14 divided by 4? That's 3.5, yes? Minus, what's 7 divided by 14? That is 0.5, isn't it? What's 3.5 minus 0.5? 3, which is what we wanted, correct? Okay. What is negative 2 divided by 4? That is negative 0.5, yes? What is 7 divided by 2? That is 3.5, yes? So minus negative 3.5, because negative 2. What's 0.5 minus minus? Negative 0.5 plus 3.5 is 3. We did it right. Everybody cool? And that's it. There's nothing new except the complication of having to do this numerous times. So, step 1 is simplify. Can I do anything there? Difference of squares. 2 over z plus 2. Z was a stupid variable to use there. Can I do anything there? Can I do anything there? No. What is my common denominator? 6, z plus 2, z minus 2. What do I check right now? What are they? Plus or minus 2. Anything else? No. What did this guy need? Why did this guy need a 6? Because he's got the z's. 6, 12, plus. What did this guy need? Z minus 2 to get 10z minus 20. I don't need to worry because it's a positive there, yes? Equals. What did this guy need? He needs 6z minus 12, right? Because he needed the z minus 2 and the 12, yeah? And the 6. 6z minus 12. Are they all over the same denominator? So what do I do? Collect like terms. So, go. Oh, this needed plus 12, hey? Because he already had the negative. Sorry. Yeah, big sigh. What does 4z equal?
2 seconds worth of math.
Four z equals what? What does z equal?
5.
You sound sick.
Not like I feel fine. I feel okay.
Is there anything new?
Or, the only thing new is that I'm trying to solve for something.
You're trying to solve for something, but you're using the same tools. But how easy is it to make an error? It's so easy. You have to go carefully. Right? Look through there. Where are your guesses for factoring there?
It's going to be k plus 2.
You know that one.
And then it's the same as the
So what about this top one?
It just stays the same.
It doesn't factor, does it? It looks like it's going to factor, but right now it doesn't, does it? So, because I am practicing, I am going to write out every step. 4k minus 1 over k plus 2 minus k plus 1 over k minus 2 equals k squared minus 4k plus 24 over k plus 2 k minus 2. And now it's super easy to see your common denominator. Is there anybody that does not see the common denominator? What is it? K plus 2, k minus 2. So, if that's my common denominator, what is missing there? K minus 2. What is missing there? K plus 2. Once I have that established, do the denominators matter at all? No. So the first thing I have to do is that distribution. 4k squared minus 8k minus k plus 2. Correct? I'm showing everything. 4k squared minus 9k plus 2. Yes? Minus. Bracket, because there's a minus there. K squared plus 3k plus 2. Right? Because that one I can do in my head. I don't need to worry about this. What does that equal? What should I do now? We should have done NPVs, shouldn't we? When? Before. What are they? Now come back to here. What should I do? What's 4k minus a k? Gone, gone. What's negative 9k minus 3k? And what's 2 minus 2? Equals k squared minus 4k plus 24. Now what? Okay, so what is it? What can I do there? Factor what? So does that 2 factor into the equation anymore? So it's k squared minus 4k minus what? Can I factor that? K. What are my k values? Is those both right? Why would you need to check?
Make sure you're right.
-2. Can k equal -2?
No.
So that is an extraneous root, which we've already dealt with in various other spots, yes? When we were doing radical equations, remember? And then 6, well, 6 is pretty easy to check. You can check it anywhere along the way, yes? And it'll work. Is everybody good? Factor, collect like terms, simplify, NPVs, anything new? No. So, that's all there is to it. You already know how to solve these. But, can you forget other math? No. All right? I'm giving you a big hint right now. Don't forget other math that you know from previous incarnations. This is your only work today. Page 178. That's it. Okay? Go. This one is, of course, undefined because -2 would have to equal 3t squared, and that can't be the case. This one is x plus 1, x, and x squared plus x. 4x plus 4 minus 3x equals x squared plus x. X squared minus 4 equals 0. X equals plus or minus 2. D Oh well. We'll check the rest tomorrow.